Good afternoon, LinkedIn. I'm joined by Penny Delve today, the growth coach, on my Recruitment Hacks Live show. And today, the topic that we've come up with is thriving and not just surviving. I can't believe this is my 12th Recruitment Hacks Live show. The time has just gone by very quickly. I don't know if I can hear a bit of an echo, so I hope, Penny, can you hear a little bit of an echo, or does it seem all right to you? Okay, good.
Fine.
Let's hope. Oh, so lovely. Our first person has said hello. So that's lovely. People can hear and see us. So as I said, 12th show, Penny Delve, the growth coach, has joined me. Thriving, not just surviving. But actually, when Penny and I started talking a little while ago, Penny reminded me that many, many years ago, we placed you in your first role in recruitment, which unfortunately I couldn't, because of GDPR and us having cleared our database quite thoroughly every year for the past few years. I couldn't actually see you on our database, which was a real shame, because it would have been lovely to have seen the story. But can you remind us of that story? Because it would be lovely to know how we got you your first role.
Yeah, and I just love this, that we've come full circle back, Ruella, that now we are, close as, colleagues, networking, friends. And yeah, it doesn't seem that long ago. I mean, it was 18 years ago. I know I look 21. But I remember.
How old were you, Penny, at the time? How old were you?
I was 24.
24, and you came and registered with us in Great Castle Street?
Yeah, I came across the website, threw my CV in, and then got a call. And I had some other interviews that day. And I remember I did wear trainers to the interview.
Did you?
I had this interview with this lady, and she told me off. She told me off for wearing trainers. We had a really positive conversation. She put me forward to, I think I went forward to 3 companies, and then, got my first job with Baden Clark. So, and I remember the salary was 19,500.
Oh, back in the day, in fact, we used to do a lot of recruitment for them. And what's lovely actually is over COVID that the training market obviously has dipped substantially. But what we're seeing now, particularly over the last few weeks, is that trainee roles are coming back in. So that's really exciting to see. So look, thank you so much for being on our show today. As we said, we're talking about thriving, not just surviving. You've given yourself the moniker of the growth coach, which I love. Can you just explain to our audience some of the things that you cover and what you do and how it all works, really?
Of course. And first of all, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here today. So just in a nutshell, so I spent 16 years in recruitment, and 5 of those was running my own business in recruitment. And then I transitioned into coaching. So who do I help today? Well, I help people in 3 ways. In a career transition, people who want to make more of an impact, add value, have a voice, enjoy work more. And then I also help business owners with clarity, direction, focus, and mindset. And then I also work in partnerships. So I have 3 parts of my business. So that's my private one-to-one clients.
Yeah.
I work in partnership with Executive Career Jump, helping with their clients. And then I work with Centered Excellence, and they are a recruitment coaching and training company. And we help business owners scale and grow their business in recruitment. So the 3 parts to my business, but it's all about the mindset. It's about my holistic approach. It's about empowering people to unlock their true potential.
And obviously, you and I were talking behind the scenes. We come off the back of Mental Health Awareness Week. And obviously, as we know, protecting our mental health is not just something over 1 week. It's a lifetime of work. Whether you're struggling day to day, or whether there are periods in your life when you're going through perhaps a difficulty or challenging time. Obviously, we've all had a challenging sort of 12 months, but I think the onus out there when you look on LinkedIn is very much on the business owner. And obviously, to be fair, we can't be completely responsible, because people don't always talk about this. They still feel a slight stigma about this subject. And one of the things I'm really keen to get a sense of from you is how, as individuals, recruitment's known for burnout. How do we know when we're traveling down that sort of sticky path? At what point should we realise that we need to kind of perhaps do something about it ourselves before it gets to the point where it's affecting, as these things would do, every aspect of your life?
Yeah, and I think that's a great question. I think really it's about not waiting till you're feeling rubbish or burnt out. It's about investing in yourself every single day. And knowing that well-being should be on your to-do list. You should be on your to-do list. I often say to people when I'm coaching them around business or careers, ask yourself a question in the morning. What is the one thing I need to focus on today?
Yeah.
But that could be, obviously we're talking about recruitment business today. It could be candidates, it could be clients, it could be a team member. But I say, look, keep an open mind, get curious that one thing you need to focus on today is you. And that could be that you need some extra breaks. You need to have a full lunch break away from screens. It could be you need to finish on time. It could be you need to drink some more water. It could be that you need to go and do an exercise class. You know, it could be that you just get super mindful and set your phone up with a 1-minute timer and just close your eyes and breathe. You know, make those tiny little shifts, those tiny changes to your self-care every single day.
Why do you think we're so bad at doing this? I mean, I'm not going to lie, I am the world's worst for putting myself first. Why do you think we're so bad at this?
I think because perhaps we've been conditioned in a way to do other things first. And I think there is a shift. Things are changing. And it is hard to make changes. And that's another thing that I work on with people in coaching is that you're not going to suddenly wake up one day and be like the Dalai Lama and do a 2-hour meditation every single day. That is just never going to happen, right? So let's start small. Let's set yourself up for success in well-being, whatever you want to make a change in. So maybe look at a meditation that's 1 minute long. Or if it is getting healthier, drink 1 glass of water a day. You know, we will resist change as humans because we're wired to stay small and safe and stay in our comfort zone. So change we will naturally resist. So when you're leaning into change, whether it's about yourself, make it super, super easy so you're more likely to follow through.
In fact, I think this reflects a few posts, coincidentally, that the team have put up this week about these small incremental changes, because I love the way you said just have a glass of water. We're not saying drink, 1.5 litres, which seems daunting for anybody. But it's as you said, it's those sort of small steps that can lead to kind of big things, you know, at the end of the day.
Totally. And I used to really reject meditation. I thought that's not for me. I can't do it. And again, those are limiting beliefs, and we're going to not do something if we keep saying something like that.
Yes.
And I just started really small, just trying meditation, these 5 minutes. And now I pretty much do one every day, and I'm addicted to it. I love it. But it took a while of consistently showing up, consistently trying. And I think that's kind of the key. It is the tiny little shifts, the tiny changes. It's the journey. And then one day you look back and go, all right, this is what I do now. I do prioritize myself, my self-care, my mental health, my physical health. And it will happen if you say to yourself each day, what can I do for me today?
And do you think that's the best thing we can do to actually help set ourselves up for success? Or are there some other strategies that we could employ to make sure that we are successful on this journey of self-care, which is so important right now?
Yeah, it is so important. And I'd love people to kind of remember themselves. I think if you can start really, really small by even just putting your name on your to-do list. So not even doing any self-care, not trying anything new, just putting your name on there. That's how small we're talking. We're saying baby steps. And then you can start thinking about, well, what can I do for myself today? What's that one thing I can do for myself? And it might be you turn your phone off 10 minutes before bed. I'm all for saying at least an hour, but let's start small. 10 minutes before bed, no screen. Can I go to bed a bit earlier? But also being kind and compassionate, because if you are going to make changes, it's not always going to be perfect. And that's okay too. So if you do go to bed later one night, or you do have your phone by your bed and you forget to turn it off, that's okay. Let's come from a place of love and compassion, not judgment. Let's get curious rather than kind of chastising ourselves.
One of the things I know you do a lot of is helping people when they're transitioning in their careers, or maybe they're feeling a bit stuck. And we've done a few polls recently to get a sense of why people aren't looking for roles, or why they're staying where they are. And obviously, in fact, about 50% of the poll say they're really happy where they are. And I can understand that, because a lot of companies have done so much with the flexible working and flexible hours, and trying to make the environment a lot better for people.
Which is great,
so,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been wonderful. Not so wonderful when we've got all these roles to fill, but never mind. But if people are feeling a bit stuck or insecure about moving, or not sure where to go next, I mean, like, there's perhaps a lot of individuals who over COVID, they had expectations that their career would sort of move forward, or there'd be a little bit more personal development and growth. How do you coach people to know what's the best route to take, rather than just leaving for another role?
Well, I think it starts with self-awareness and kind of having that honest self-reflection. What am I doing? Where am I? Where do I want to go? You can ask yourself some questions like that, which can be really useful for that self-reflection. But, I always say to people, what about a mentor? Is there somebody else you can talk to that you trust, you can get some advice from, or invest in a coach? When you're working with a coach like myself, it's all about creating a safe space, first of all, but then stretching your thinking, coming up with new ideas, looking at and using tools that can give you that insight. And look, there's no magic, there's no epiphany where one day you go, hallelujah, I've got all the answers. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Yes. But there's definitely lots of little tools that can help you get forward and move from A to B. I mean, it might be even trying a personality test. I do the DISC. I'm a DISC profiler, and that's all about your behavior at work. So finding out more about who you are, deeper insights around your strengths, your development areas, your communication style, how you are under stress, where you really thrive, where you're in flow. And that can really then help you discover, where am I now? Am I sort of unlocking my career potential? Am I on the right path? Or do I want to change direction? And if you want to change direction, what does that mean? What's next? And again, working with a coach or a mentor, or even a trusted friend, to work out what are those first baby steps to start making that change.
Going back to we use the DISC profiling system.
And
there are a number of people, again, a lot of our clients use it. What are your thoughts on psychometric testing? I'm in two mindsets. I'd just love to hear your thought, because you do a lot of work with this, don't you?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, a psychometric test is a test, and there are some limitations. I mean, the DISC is 97% accurate. There's many tests out there. But at the end of the day, it's all about preferred behaviors. So if I'm doing the DISC with someone, I will explain, look, you will pop up in all of the areas. There's a bit of us in every single area. It's about the preferred or the dominant behavior. And again, using the DISC, or if you do this talent dynamics, there's Myers-Briggs, there's so many, using them as a tool to help you. So working with the areas that you do feel in alignment with, and building on that to help you develop in your career, your personal development, your growth, because there will be insights there that are mirrored back to you, and you're like, wow, oh yes, that makes sense now. And it's those lovely light bulb moments that help you move forward.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm a fan.
No, it's a really good point. Going back to the piece on the sort of mental health side, do you think that as a consequence of COVID and what the people have gone through, that employers will be more understanding, there'll be less of a stigma around anybody who maybe has suffered with their mental health, whether it's on a continual basis or whether it's, comes and goes? Have you seen a shift from what you've heard with business leaders that you've worked with, that this is now less of a stigma around it?
Absolutely. And I think, we're all human at the end of the day. And even if we hadn't had COVID, people were dealing with all sorts of things. And I know I coach people who are very senior, up to the managing director, CEOs. And, everybody has suffered. Everybody's has difficult things happening. And throw COVID on top, I think what it's done is just shone a big mirror to say it's okay, this is happening to everyone, and it's just part of who we are. So I do feel like I look back at 10 years ago when I was working and I was employed, it was a completely different landscape, where today I do feel it's okay. It's a safer place to say, put your hand up and say, well, I'm struggling, I need some help. And people immediately understand. I do think there are some industries are more forward thinking than others. More traditional industries are probably lagging behind. But absolutely, there has been a shift. And I'd love to think that people have more confidence to voice any struggles that they have. I mean, what do you think? Have you seen a shift?
Yeah, I mean, we just had a recent example, actually. Obviously, I wouldn't name the person, but we had a candidate recently who had registered with several other recruitment firms and talked to several other recruitment firms. And she had taken a period of time out because she was suffering with her mental health. And one of the things that concerned her was, as we went to market, whether we would be transparent about that. And my view was absolutely. There is absolutely no way in my mind that I'm going to have any conversations with any clients about you unless we are completely transparent about what's happened, because why would you pretend to be something, that you're not? And she obviously, understandably, was nervous about that. And we spoke to 4 clients. She got 4 offers. And I think she feels that every single one of those clients, although she is, as 100% as anyone can be in these situations, for us, it was incredibly refreshing being able to go to a client, be completely honest, talk about what someone had gone through over the previous 12 to 18 months through no fault of their own. Let's stress this. And for them to be so embracing and positive and supportive. And it was a lovely feeling, actually, a really lovely feeling. So yes, I've seen it. And I hope this continues, because no one wants to pretend to be something that they're not. They don't want to put a brave face on it if they're having a tough time. And in fact, we just had, we put a post up which has now had over 30,000 views, talking about whether you should have whether it would be possible to have mental health days, in a business, where if somebody is struggling, they can just ring up and say, look, I just need some time out. I just call it time out. I feel a bit burnt out. I'm having a bad day. I've got stuff going on. It was quite a controversial post. We had so many comments, but overwhelmingly, most individuals who replied were saying, yeah, we think this is a good idea. Obviously, all these things are open to abuse, but I would hope that no one would pretend that they had a mental health issue if they didn't. I would hope not.
Yeah, I would hope not too. And I think that's an amazing idea, and it should be like that in every company. But, just creating a safe space for people, like your candidate, who was embraced by those companies, everyone was transparent. Yes. And when people feel safe, they feel valued, that's when you get people focused, productive, happy. And who doesn't want their employees to feel that way? They're going to be more loyal. They're going to stay longer. So, everybody wins when you create that safe space for people to talk about mental health. And, wearing a mask, pretending, that's exhausting. Nobody wants that. So I'm delighted to hear that story. And I do think there's a shift. So I'm just hoping, as we progress the next 5-10 years, the landscape will be completely different again in a positive way.
Yeah. One of the things I know that's very important to you, and we've spoken about this again behind the scenes, is communication. And I think particularly now we've got people, blended work patterns, working from home. I'm onboarding, Ron Kay and Claire at the moment over Zoom. And we've got people working in the office. The communication piece amongst leaders and amongst ourselves as individuals, has probably got to be more important than ever. And I would just love your views on this, because I heard you with Sally Spicer week before last, where you gave a brilliant analogy. In fact, talk about the analogy you gave, because it could be used in business, but perhaps also just talk about why you feel communication is so important and so powerful in recruitment now.
Yeah, so communication, it's huge, right? And the interesting thing is that 90% of our communication is nonverbal. So that's huge. So how you're feeling, how you're acting, your actions, your body language, your eye contact, anything like that is part of your communication, and people pick up on that. So it's really important to kind of be self-aware of how you are and how you're feeling, especially if you're a leader in a recruitment business, that you're projecting that positive energy or supportive energy or inclusive energy. understanding energy, and use the right sort of language as well. We want to be inclusive. We want to empower. We want to be asking, not telling. And when I say that, I mean, we don't want to tell someone what to do. We want to empower them by saying, what do you think would be the best way? What ideas have you got? How do you think you could improve on this? People then feel inclusive, empowered, it's more positive, and everybody gets a much better result in that way. So again, you can use that over Zoom, you can use it over email, but I think just be really careful what language you're using. Is it empowering? Is it positive? Is it inclusive? And then be aware that a lot of your communication is nonverbal, because I think that's a massive light bulb moment for many people. And as we move into this new world of hybrid working, as a leader in any business or recruitment, that's not going to change anytime soon. So ask people, get feedback, say, how am I communicating with you right now? What's working for you? What's not working? How can we improve on that? And again, something like the DISC or profiling, personality profiling, anything like that can help with your team to kind of see how people communicate, because everybody likes to be communicated in a different way.
Yes.
And that's fascinating, because as a leader, sometimes we're communicating in one way only, or actually there'll be many different people in the team who will respond differently. So it's, again, being very self-aware about how you communicate differently with each unique person in the business.
I want to explore that for a second, because I think that's quite interesting. Well, very interesting, not quite interesting, because obviously I'm quite an open sharing person. There are individuals and businesses that are closed. I've obviously always really struggled with somebody who's not as open as I would be. If you have somebody perhaps who seems a little bit more reticent and who is more private, how would you start a conversation where you feel there is an issue, or there is an issue, and how would you approach that?
What, an issue in communication, or just an issue with somebody who is struggling?
An issue with somebody who will probably just say, I'm fine. Not maybe give you very much.
Yeah, I think, it's about creating that safe environment. I talk about safe all the time, but as humans, we love to be safe. And the more we're safe, the more we get out of people. So again, it's just asking those questions, what's really going on for you? What's going to make a difference? I think that's a lovely question. What's going to make a difference for you to get the most out of your work or your day? Or what do you need right now? How can I support you? Because when we say, how can I support you, it creates an environment for that person to exactly communicate what they need. And then you can match back to that. So it's just those lovely, powerful questions that can empower people.
And can you please give the analogy that you gave in Sally's show? I know it was related to a child, but do you remember what you said?
Oh no, remind me.
It was something along the lines of, you, instead of saying to your child, I'm really proud of you. Oh yeah. You reframed it, and it was lovely.
Yes. So, we can send it, and we can use this with our children, with our colleagues, with people in our team. So, I'm really proud of you, but it's much more powerful to say, are you proud of yourself? How proud are you? How does it make you feel? And when someone is proud of themselves, they then know they can rely on themselves, giving themselves that power. But if you're always saying you're proud of someone else and they rely on other people to get that that positive motivation. So it's really about empowering someone to be motivated themselves by saying, I'm proud of myself because of X, Y, Z. And it can be as simple as that.
Yeah. What are the issues? What obviously individuals come and have conversations with you about all sorts of things. Are there common themes that you're seeing right now with your clients? What are the similarities in terms of why individuals are coming and having conversations with you at the moment?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think there are similarities, but everybody's really different. And I think people come to me because normally, it's careers or business always. But people know I'm very holistic because I've done, traditional coach training, but also hypnotherapy, positive psychology, mindfulness, health coaching. And I'm really passionate about well-being and mental health. So my approach is very holistic. So I probably draw in people who want that holistic approach. And normally it's around mindset and self-belief and just feeling stuck and not knowing. And that could be just in a simple career transition. It could be, you know, at work, you know, am I happy? Am I in the right role? What do I want to do next? You know, midlife kind of, where am I now? What do I want to do for the next 20 years? But when we start to dig a bit deeper, there's always these layers that you're peeling back in coaching. And it can sometimes go back to a limiting belief from childhood. It could be just giving somebody the tools to have a conversation that they were resisting or they felt uncomfortable. And again, going back to my safe thing, it's about that safe space where we can explore what that person needs to move forward. Because coaching is always about moving forward in a positive way. So I think if we're looking at similarities, I'd say mindset, well-being, self-belief.
Yeah. One of the things that Claire and Ronke and I were talking about beforehand was how we just love to have hypnotherapy, but we'd be far too scared to do it. Under what circumstances would someone normally have hypnotherapy? We just thought it was
what are you scared about, first of all? Because it's quite common that people are scared. So
I might say something that I regret afterwards, or because I won't remember what I've said. There's the lack of control. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Lack of control.
And first of all, you will remember what you said, because in hypnotherapy, you remember everything. You're completely in control. And it's funny,
Really?
people have seen shows on TV where someone pretends they're a chicken or they're eating an onion and it hits an apple. And they think, oh, my goodness, it's so terrifying. But there's sort of like 1% of people who are that susceptible to it. And even they are in control. And obviously, when I'm using hypnotherapy, again, it's a very safe environment. And what happens is you go into a very relaxed state and you kind of go deeper into that relaxed state, but you're awake, you're not asleep, you're not sort of walking around like a zombie. But what we do when we're in a very relaxed state, we can access the subconscious mind much easier. So I use hypnotherapy with some of my clients around just letting go. A lot of people need to let go of these weights, these chains, these limiting beliefs, these thoughts. And so one of the things I do is just put someone in a relaxed state. We go and talk about what they want, what they don't want. And we kind of just have that shift in hypnosis, and they come out of it. Every single person I do that exercise with comes out of it feeling amazing, because it really is a shift in their subconscious and conscious thinking in a really positive way. And I can use it for careers. I can use it for more general things. So it's a really ubiquitous kind of technique to use on anyone.
Yeah.
I'll have a go with you, Rowella. We'll book you in.
Can you do it over Zoom?
Yeah, over Zoom. Yeah. And I do group ones as well. I do group relaxations.
I'm in. It sounds fantastic. So Wendy has said hypnotherapy works for her. Thank you, Wendy, for watching the show. Claire has said, does it work for everyone? Can everyone manage to get into that state?
Another great question. Thank you. Yes, everyone can. Some people, like I said, are more susceptible. So the first session, they'll just be super relaxed. But some people will be, like you say, Rowella, worried, scared, resisting. And that could be quite normal. So it might take a few sessions for someone to relax into it, trust you. I think I'm very good at making people feel relaxed and safe. So I get quite good results quickly. But yeah, everyone is a bit different, and that's okay. And it's just about exploring what might be keeping you resisting, or what you might just facing those fears in the first session to understand what's worrying you.
Penny, Wendy's obviously a big fan, saying Wendy is a big fan, saying Penny is wonderful. Karen has just said, unfortunately, it didn't work for her, so I'll have to explore further with her what she was.
No, I'd love to pick up on that. When people say it doesn't work, the thing is with hypnotherapy, it can be the therapist, it can be that you didn't want to change, because with any therapy, whether it's coaching, hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, or giving up smoking, whatever you're doing, if you don't want that change, it will be resisted. So it'd be interested to find out more about what that situation was.
Yes, I'll have to ask her. Ronke said, what have been some of the success stories following hypnotherapy, if you're allowed to say? Yeah,
so like I said, I use it in a career aspect. So I use it alongside all my other tools. And I'd say it's always a success story because people just feel empowered. They feel lighter because it's about that letting go of that heaviness. And so every single person I use that exercise on feels brilliant afterwards. And then they go and have a wonderful sleep. And I use another technique, which is called the mental rehearsal, which helps people in their interviews as well. And again, just setting people up for success, it works. So
that's incredible.
And I love obviously
Karen has said she's happy to share, so I'll let you know, Penny, what she said.
Oh, good.
So just to sort of finish off, we've covered so many different topics, so thank you so much. In terms of the 3 things that we could be doing as individuals to help us thrive, to go back to our topic, not just survive right now, have you got 3 top tips for the audience?
Wow, I've got loads of top tips. So I'd say, 3. Put yourself on your to-do list. Ask yourself that question. What is that one thing I need to focus on today, and be open that it could be you. I'd say be kind to yourself. And 3, I would say focus on what goes well at the end of each day, whether it's been a work day, it's been an interview, it's been a family party, whatever it's been in your life, focus on what has gone well. Ask yourself at the end of each day, what has gone well for me today? And even if it's something tiny, and that's just about bringing your thought processes back to a positive place, and have compassion for yourself as well. So those are my tips. Before we go,
I've got to ask you Claire's question. Do you have to do it regularly? I'm sure she's asking about hypnotherapy. Anything else?
Do what regularly?
Yes, exactly.
What, coaching, hypnotherapy?
I think she means hypnotherapy. What is it? Something that you have to have a course of, or it can work in one go?
It depends on what people are using it for. But like I said, if I'm just doing an exercise, I'll get the result from that one exercise. Obviously, some people specialize in smoking, and I know with that it may take some people between 1 and 6 sessions. So it just depends on that person and what they want help with.
Penny, you've covered so many fantastic topics. I think you're going to have a load of hypnotherapy clients after this show. But thank you so much for your time. It's been so enlightening, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I've absolutely loved it. I could have spoken for another 2 hours. So I really enjoyed being here. Thanks, Ruella.
And finally, if you're happy for people to connect with you on LinkedIn.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Coach. Anyone who's watching who wants to connect with Penny, connect with her. Obviously, this will be on our YouTube channel afterwards, and we'll have some little snippets of some of the key things that you said on LinkedIn over the course of next week. But thanks again for your time. We've really enjoyed having you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.